put on. This is when I checked because this wasn't on. A very good, wrong microphone, boy, I'm having a tough time tonight. A very good evening, everybody, from Gulf Harbour Radio, Patricia and David, on this kind of wintry Tuesday night, 13th of July here. I've just realised that for some reason Fiji is an hour ahead of us. It must just not go off daylight saving. I think it might be 6:15 your time, because that's when the AIS says it's just given some positions, but I may be wrong. Anyway, 13 degrees as mentioned, 1011.2 and rising here, and about 10 knots of sou'wester. It's about 80% cloud cover, but it's just got that gloomy, cold look about it, which of course is winter. Just some local news before I forget it. For Fusio, I don't think there's anybody else from Gulf Harbour, but the Hammerhead, you know, the area at the edge of the marina here, which has been under a lot of controversy as to what they're going to do with it, that has now transferred ownership to Auckland Council. So they are yet to decide what they're going to do, but presumably it will stay as car parking and general area for bits and bobs. And there was some agreement with the Gulf Harbour Investment Company, whatever it's called. They no doubt have benefit in some way. I didn't read the detail. But anyway, the Hammerhead is now back in public, if you can call it that, ownership. Quick roundup of COVID. 3 more deaths in Fiji, bringing the total to 58. 873 new cases with a total of 9,310. A 15-year-old girl has died with COVID, which sort of highlights what people are going to do with children, because at the moment vaccines are only given to people 18 years and over, although they say, the Pfizer people say that it can be given, their vaccine can be given to 12 years and above, children with special needs, but there is not a lot of work has been done on studying the effects on children. The WHO have yet to decide which vaccine and when and how and what and so on and so forth. But meantime, children are getting symptoms and do need to be looked after. New South Wales has 89 new cases, so not too well there, and Victoria has 3 cases across the border from New South Wales. New Zealand has 18 cases detected at the border. They're all in quarantine. 13 are from the Viking Bay fishing vessel that got COVID on board from 2 people, and of course the close living quarters in a fishing boat. It spread rather quickly. It docked in Wellington and they took them off and put them into quarantine. The other few cases are from another fishing boat, but I don't have the details of that one. There's not much else to report. Wildfires in the northwest of the United States and Canada are still a real problem, particularly in California and southern Oregon. The temperatures are just really gruesome. Fresno got up to 43.9 centigrade in the old terminology. That's 111 degrees Fahrenheit. Death Valley, of course, which always tends to break records, 130 Fahrenheit. But in 1913, the temperature there was 134. So I guess they weren't too worried about global warming in 1913, but that was a pretty good record. It was yet to be beaten. Okay, let's have a look at our boats. The 3 boats that are together. Argo is still in the lead of it. 22, 32 south, 179, 21 east. Castile, oh, they've got 20 knots of wind up there by the look of it, south-southeast. Castile is not far away, 2304, 179.58, just staying just this side of the date line, doing a good 6.7 on a course of 331. I think David has got some information about the front that might appear tomorrow, but your winds are more southerly by the look of it. Calypso, 2325 and 179.41 west, so just on the other side. Looks like there's a boat, a US boat, Mirage, is heading towards Fiji, and a boat, Cineran, from Australia, looks like it might stop too. It's only about 2 days away from Denaram, 1744 and 178 west at the moment. And free wind is still out there. Boy, they're not going to have to, by the time they get home, they're certainly not going to have to quarantine, I hope. They are at 3042 and 17433, so they're doing all right at the moment. The front is all past the very strong winds. I don't know what the seas are like, but they've got 15 knots of sou'wester at the moment, so going along quite well. And hopefully they are not damaged at all and are looking forward to finally getting to Opua. That's about it from me. Nothing much exciting is happening in the world. The South China Sea is looking a bit exciting because the Filipino fishermen are sort of taking a stance, even though they don't have the firepower of the Chinese. But the Biden administration are following on from Mike Pompeo last year, who gave some fairly strong words about what the Chinese should and shouldn't be doing in the South China Seas, and the Biden administration have followed that up. So there still should probably be a little bit of strife there. A lot of words flying around, but nothing else at the moment. All right, back to David on the subject of the weather, which is really what we're here for.
Yeah, the poor Philippines, brave people. I'll tell you what, World War II, they put quite an effort into protecting their homeland and whatnot. Yeah, I got a lot of respect for them. And hello again from the good old Gulf Harbor Radio Weather Desk. And as usual, we'll start with a brief look at the synoptic picture for the Southwest Pacific. Now, that nasty depression that was over New Zealand has moved to lie east of East Cape at this point. The fronts and troughs associated with the low are still active and cross the route from New Zealand to Fiji. The main frontal band crosses the dateline, has crossed the dateline at about 25 south and continues on to Vanuatu. They've got winds up and down the chain of Vanuatu, 25 to 30 knots, gusts 35 and more. So there's a bit of activity up there. The secondary trough crossed the date line at 28 south, so that's not too far behind the first one. Now the following high that's behind this mess has moved onto the Tasman, fairly weak, with a central pressure of about 1022 millibar, 1022. By Thursday of this week, that high, the center of the high, is going to lie near 32 south and 170 east. So very slowly moving eastward. Pressure roughly 1026 millibars, so fairly strong. Circulation of this high, by the way, is going to dominate flow from Tonga to New Caledonia. It covers a very large area of this high. So basically, the winds are going to be east-southeast when they're not, which they are not when these fronts get up there, which is coming very shortly. Now, the next low by Thursday, since we're talking about Thursday, will be found in the Oz Bight, and it's moving, of course, eastward. And from the looks of things, should be a fairly nasty looking depression from what I can see. So anyway, up to Fiji now. The frontal band that I mentioned earlier is continuing to move toward the group, and it's going to start to affect the islands tomorrow. For now, expect easterlies 15 to 20, but expect a wind shift tomorrow, probably looking at northeasterlies. Basically, the Osawa, east of the Osawas, east of Vanua, Viti Levu is what I'm trying to say. East of there, the northeasterlies will affect Vanua Levu as well. So anyway, they're feeding this front with very warm, moist air, so that's going to create some, as you would expect, rain and so forth, and certainly cloud will be there. By Thursday, you're going to see another shift to the southeast. There will be stronger winds at that point, probably 20 to 25 knots. So I believe that will be probably Thursday. And yes, we were talking about Castile, who is probably listening at 23 and roughly 180. The edge of the front probably will be affecting them tomorrow morning. Looking at 20 knots plus, getting into some of the squalls, could be stronger winds than that. So all the boats that are up in that general area should watch out for this frontal band and stay safe in that. And really, that's about it. So with that, I'll pass it back to the chief.
And I should have mentioned there is still no sign on the AIS of the vessel Moxie or Te Tokakia. So 2 days now there has not been anything there. So hopefully you've got some other ways of showing Fiji authorities that you have kept going since you started, but there has not been any AIS report. Is there anybody wanting to make contact with Gulf Harbour Radio? Please call. Yeah, good evening, Charles. I see you took off today, the very social hour, and I presume you're settled in. Over.
Yes, we made a last minute change of plan thanks to the light winds, and had a good motor and tail to Vianney Bay. We're still going to spend a couple of days here. The kids are going to do a dive course, and we're looking forward to explore. So we had a good trip.
Oh, that's a good spot to be to do the diving. Plenty of places to go to on the edge of the reef there. So, yeah, they'll really enjoy that. And I meant to mention yesterday for others as well, we had very good reports a couple of years ago from the dive course and where to go from the Cousteau Resort. I think it was Margie and Rooster, wasn't it? Anyway, they did a similar thing, did a dive course there and got taken to some very interesting dive spots. Vianney Bay, of course, is a real classic, so I hope you'll get some really good conditions there. I've got memories of Vianney Bay because we were there one Sunday, anchored sort of right down the end, and the boat just sort of turned around. It was clear that we were getting a low, which on a Sunday at that time had not been forecast. We always chuckled that the Met Service in Fiji had the cleaners on Sunday, but anyway, we had an interesting saga there, which I won't bother you with, but I do remember Vianney Bay well. Oh, and I hope it's good, and you get some nice calm and clear water conditions, Charles. Over.
Thank you, Patricia. We're expecting rain, as David has said. Forecast. And expect the two buildings just started raining as we talking.
Is it going to be better?
No, you do.
Yeah, you're coming through really well tonight. If anyone's listening to you from this part of the world, you're as clear as a bell. Yep. Oh well. You're in not a hurry, so I'm sure there'll be plenty to do. Thanks for the update, and I think I saw Not Tied Down behind you there, so I presume they are there as well. Is that a Roger?
Roger. So there's 4 vessels in the bay. Roaring Worth, and a boat called a catamaran called Figure, and then not tied down and ourselves. Over.
Oh, that's good. Thank you for that. I'll just make a note, and yep, we'll enjoy it there. Okay, well, Claire with Bingalot, making us feel quite envious of the proposed diving. Is there anybody else wanting to say hello? Hopefully Castile got the news about the pending front tomorrow, which of course the other boats, 2 boats, will experience as well. So you have a very good next 24 hours, and we'll be back to update tomorrow. A final call from Gulf Harbour Radio. Nothing heard, and if anyone wants to give an email down to here, it is ghradio@extra, which is xtra.co.nz. Have a very good evening, everybody. We certainly hope it's more pleasant than what we've got here. It's just wintry looking and feeling because of the 13 degrees outside. Cheers, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. We are clear. Frequencies are yours if anyone wants to use it.
Yeah. No, honey, they got that funnel dance. You're still on there.
Okay.